I think companies need to identify the things that can slow down their trial enrollment and prevent full enrollment of their trials. And I've identified by talking to families about 5 myths that can slow down rare disease clinical trial enrollment. And quickly they are that my doctor will tell me anything I need to know, my child may not qualify, so I'm not going to try and be disappointed. I can't afford the travel costs or all the costs of being in a clinical trial. The logistics for my family, I can't figure out how that's going to work, and an experimental drug is too risky. And let me elaborate a little bit on those. So some patients are very activated and looking for trials, and some are just waiting for their doctor to tell them. But a lot of these doctors can't follow the 7,000 rare diseases, so they don't know if a trial is upcoming. So companies need to make sure that they get accurate information out to patients so they can hear about trials and not just wait for their doctor to tell them. Second, some families think, well, my child is either doing too well or doing too poorly and they're not going to qualify. So physicians and companies need to make sure that patients know that they need to go ahead and get screened for trials, even if they think it may not fit their child, if they're seeking to have them in a trial. So just to be sure to urge them to get screened. Third, some parents don't realize that in a lot of the rare disease clinical trials, a lot of the expenses are covered by the sponsor, including the flights, and some families see how much it would take to be in a trial and think, oh, I would have to pay for that, and I can't do that. So again, accurate information is really important for families to understand what they would have to do in order to be in a trial. Next, something that's a little different than finances is logistics. Being in a trial takes a lot of time and energy, and it's different obligations depending on the trial. So families need to make sure to be plugged in, and that's one of the great things with social media is that families can be connected and help new families that are enrolling in trials understand how they can make that work for their family. And finally, some families take different looks about the risk of a trial. And of course, everyone has to gauge their own level of what their risk tolerance is. But especially for degenerative rare diseases, the alternative when you have no approved therapy is the loss of skill and death of your child. So in those circumstances, a lot of parents will look at anything as a potential treatment option, including trials. And so just having them understand what are the specific risks of that drug and being very well informed as to what the alternative is, and in most cases there's no treatment alternative.